Although back with another video. I don't know how much time I've got this time. I hope it's a lot. So my phone's not telling me how much time I've got. But I'm back. All right. This week, I guess this month, let's start with this. This is the Aphex Twin Selected Ambient Works Chrome version. Just released. I've got the ferric version coming as well. I love the the lovely kind of screws that they put in this thing. Yeah, this is really something else. And I understand that, having read the liner notes now, this album is something that meant a lot to Richard D. James, more than I thought it did. It was a very important album to him, unless he's like screwing with us, but I don't believe he is. I think he's being serious when he says that, like, I don't know. He wrote a lot about his mom in the liner notes and stuff. So, and I can really see how this particular album at this point in his life, 1994, I think, must have been, well, very important to him. I mean, it was important to everybody too. But they're like, sometimes when they say, this music's a little bit more difficult, and I understand, it's true. It probably is a little bit more difficult, but it's worth it. All right, and so now we're going to move on to everything else. This Badfinger is I've always liked Ken Lee, and it's an excellent, because I like mistranslations quite a bit. This is the promo version of Badfinger, the best of, and it also has probably my favorite Badfinger song, which is a song that I used to be able to play on the guitar, called, where is it? I'm looking for it through this phone. It's not Day After Day. Oh, Baby Blue. Yeah, Baby Blue is a classic. Very sad story, Badfinger. They, like, two people ending their lives through just, like, I don't know. It's like, I remember the weird sanctimonious interview. I love John Lennon, but, like, the weird sanctimonious interview with him where he's saying, like, they formed Apple so that they don't screw artists over. Probably begging on somebody's, it's just really prophetic that John said all that. And then there's one, hanging in a garage, another one 10 years later, because that's exactly what happened, like, under their label. So it's really interesting. Speaking of the Beatles, I listened to the Beatles oldies today. This actually has the wrong song order on the tape, just a slight note. Anyway, Bongzilla is a band from Madison, Wisconsin. They are, you might think, like, it was the first time I saw, I guess, I mean, I knew the Melvins, but like a stoner rock band, I guess, or stoner metal that was, like, really into being stoners, because, and I first saw them, I think, at Wheatstock. I don't want to even mention the year. It was a long, long, long time ago. But yeah, they were screaming and had, like, some kind of sort of Black Sabbath-y type, riff playing. And that's what they do. And they're really good at it. This is their demo, by the way. It was not really released. I just found it. I started listening to them, and then I found the demo, or perhaps I found the demo, and that sparked me to start listening to them. I can't remember anymore. But I believe I was intending to listen to these, because now I'm in a place where I can play music loud, especially on the weekends. So anyway, yeah, these are the re-releases here. There's actually 3 more I've got to listen to. This one here is the Clash. It is Rude Boy soundtrack. Now that's pretty rare. Not to be sold. It played all right, considering it's a very long tape. It's not long on this side, but it's got a lot of songs on this side. There was something actually kind of goofy about the way it played, but I can't remember now. It made it to the end, but it was having a rough time of it. Okay, so Victoria Land by the Cocteau Twins. I went through, because I've had a lot of like personal trials that I won't get into too much, but it gave me the opportunity to like reorganize my cassette collection in a real way, go through like all the tapes in my spare room to find out really which ones I really want to listen to over the next 5 years, and to pull them, to alphabetize all that, and to create a section of ones I really, really want to listen to, a section of ones that I really want to listen to, and then there's Bollywood on the other side. It's kind of a long story. Anyway, this I think came from that, sort of like a box, and I was like, wait, Victoria Land by the Cocteau Twins. I haven't heard it yet, but I've got it. Okay. There were a number of things like that. This is the Contra soundtrack. I used to play Contra, I think, back when it came out. It's the Nintendo version. It was a fun game. The original Nintendo version of Contra is something you could play for hours and not get too bored with it. Especially if you got certain weapons. Like I think there was so if we both had spreaders, like as a cooperative team game, it was really fun. Okay, so I also found a bunch of Crosby, Stills, and Nash and realized, oh yeah, I've heard the original versions, but then these were like these early 90s remix or remastered versions. So probably they sound a little bit better. But yeah, so I've been like watching a lot of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. I learned that like one of my absolute favorite songs of those, there's You Don't Have to Cry, was actually the first song that they ever sang together. Yeah, they're an incredible band. And I was actually watching some interviews with, I was going to say Steve Nash, no, Graham Nash, where he's talking about, I don't know, just stuff. And he just seems like a really great guy. I don't know. He's like in his early 80s now. Boy, I would have, because he said he was asked like what were his favorite CSN songs, and he's like, oh, probably Helpless and Teach Your Children. And I'm like thinking, boy, sir, I would just like to put in a good word for Wasted on the Way, which is, I think that might be my favorite Nash song. I also like Crosby's music a lot, and of course Neil Young's music. And well, no, I mean it's Stills. I'm sorry, Stills and Neil's wrong. And then Crosby, well, Crosby's pretty awesome too. I don't know that he's got like my favorite ones or anything compared to Stills Nash, but he's supposed to be like, he was an integral part of that group, and man, they're good. I don't know. Like, I really like them. I even listened to the 94, where they just aren't really writing hits anymore, but they're still kind of trying to do other things, and well, whatever. I mean, but I like this story about, I wish, I have to look up to see what that's true, because I read that he was, Nash was, they, like some cab driver said, like, I can just imagine this, like in New York, being like, oh, you're in Crosby, Stills, Nash? Yeah, you guys haven't done anything in a while. And he's like, no, we're working on a new album. And, oh, okay, whatever. Yeah, no, the 70s are over, man. You should really, if you're going to work on a new album, you should get a synthesizer going, an electric guitar. You should stop trying to sing or write all that stuff. I mean, I bet you can't even write like that anymore. Like, that's what I heard. And then that's what inspired that song. And it's a good one. And of course, Southern Cross is a really good one anyway as well. Well, and of course, like, I'm not going to look past these either. Yeah. Anyway, I'll move on. Here we have, Crowded House single there. And the new Cure, which I just got today and listened to it. Boy, Robert Smith just sounds like he's at the end of his life, which he shouldn't be. He's got at least another 20 years, I hope. But, I guess you never know. But I guess he's in his 60s now. But it's like, I don't know. It just made me feel old, and like the whole thing was just like, I'm at the end of my life and I haven't done anything with my life. And well, I know that's not how he feels, but that's how the lyrics of these songs are. They're just, I mean, it's like I was posting on the group tonight, on the cassette group, that well, it sounds trite, but boy, I kind of, I don't know. Like, what do I expect? It's The Cure, but it's like these lyrics are so depressing. I mean, it's probably just because of where I'm at in my life. I mean, but Robert Smith, I think people actually want to hang out with you and do things with you and whatever, and you can create still if you want. Unlike me, who's just kind of sitting at home, and I mean, my entire work is entirely solitary now, and I want to invite somebody over to eat some spaghetti with me, but she kind of went AWOL. And anyway, and this is the first person I've ever invited here, and I've lived here for like 5 years. Nobody ever comes here. Anyway, yeah, I don't mean to be depressing myself. I actually really enjoyed this Dishwalla here. This was actually really good. I mean, the vocals are a little on the cheesy side, but I mean, they're totally cheesy, especially the big hit. But actually, kind of, I don't know. I get into this sort of stuff I listened to in high school because I'm not going to turn my back on the stuff I listened to in high school. I don't know. It comforts me. Actually, it doesn't comfort me. It makes me depressed, but I like that feeling. Anyway, actually, the Dishwalla didn't make me depressed, though. Deb Narcotics sound system, I don't remember. I mean, that's obviously not Daniel Johnson. What's his name? The guy from K Records. Yeah. He's in that band that starts with a B, Beat Happening. And then Folk Implosion. This is the right. By the way, that Dishwalla here is also, I'm sure it's obvious, but that's also a promo version. So is this. It looks kind of interesting. Like, this is a very Lou Barlow looking thing where they would have made it kind of punk or something, or look different. Okay, now here I come to a very important one. Perhaps you saw this already. The Good Will Hunting soundtrack of Capitol. Wait, why is this off Capitol? I thought it was on, anyway, it's a whole bunch of Elliott Smith. Yeah, the thing that made Elliott Smith famous. Now, why is it on Capitol again? I thought it was on Sony. I thought it was on that, like, other record label. Maybe it's Capitol. But, I mean, most of his records... No, I'm pretty sure the actual... I forget the record label, but it's... Oh, shoot. DreamWorks. Yeah, they like the movie. Is that Capitol? I don't know, actually. You never know. Anyway, it's a promotional version of Good Will Hunting. Assuming it's not a fake, but the store I'm getting this from is fairly reputable, I think. Okay, Grateful Dead Go to Heaven, and this is like early 90s hardcore. I don't believe it was that good, but that didn't matter because I was enjoying it anyway. What was good was this Judge Jules Introspective of House from 96. And what was up with this Jewel of the Nile soundtrack? Let me just look at this really quick. What was on this? Oh, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Yeah, the days when you just kind of had like a cheesy, like, well, I don't know. Is cheesy the word of the day? When you get a saying going or whatever, cliche going. Actually, this was a terrible soundtrack. Really, it was really pretty bad. I want to say that maybe one of these songs was good. Was the Jewel of the Nile song? Was that like where they... Oh, Legion was good. Like, the side A was really just garbage. And then side B, no offense, but then side B ended up being some Mark Shreve. And that ended up being pretty good, of course. I like that song, Legion. It's weird. It's from 86, but it's like electronic-y. Let's see. LA Style was a lightweight hardcore thing, or hardcore as in hardcore techno. Yeah, pretty meh. And Love Battery, that was actually pretty good for them. Like, they were kind of developing. They are And also ran, they actually sound a lot like the Foo Fighters, which really amused me. I don't know if they meant to, but I guess Dave Grohl's first album would have come out by then. This album's from '96. It sounded like a lot of the Foo Fighters. Animalique, I always have to at least have one Animalique, but there was a lot of good stuff that I got in the last month, and there were a number of days when I wasn't really able to listen to anything for reasons I won't get too into. Mudhoney Piece of Cake, I'd kind of wanted that for a while. My So-Called Life, I'd really wanted this because this has some Sonic Youth on it. Anytime I get a Sonic Youth thing I don't have, I've got to get it, just so I have all the Sonic Youth ever done, ever put on cassette. So even just something like that I really want. And I've been looking for it for a couple of years, and it showed up. All right, from that same seller where I got the Good Will Hunting soundtrack. Ninja Gaiden was another computer game. Ninja Gaiden, actually. Okay, Modern Bollywood by Reshmanya. Dick Tracy is another computer game. Shonen Knife, yeah, this is all in this one haul. They just started, or like a couple of hauls from this guy. This seller on Discogs. It just has a ton of things. Brand new knife, as well as the Shudder to Think, 50,000 BC. I think I've told the story of how I once saw Shudder to Think along with Sunny Day Real Estate and Brainiac. That was one show. It's kind of one of those shows where it's like, okay, this is really because of some important stuff going on. Some Velvet Sidewalk was also, it's another K, and it was part of that haul. Soundgarden's Badmotorfinger, the promo version. That didn't set me back too bad. Obviously, another very important 90s album. Some Tangerine Dreams re-releases. Rather, they're old albums, but I think they were re-released in, I don't know, probably the 90s or something. I got them off of a Facebook purchase. And then finally, this album, believe it or not, might not seem like much, but it's actually, I've been looking for this for a very, very long time. I think I've mentioned Tripmaster Monkey. They were a band where I contacted them on Facebook and they sent me their first tape, which I had a copy of like way back when I was coming up. They were from not Des Moines, not Dubuque, the Quad Cities. They're from the Quad Cities, so both Illinois and Iowa. They're kind of like an early 90s emo band, and they were kind of brand new at the time, and I was able to get their album. I was able to find that in the store somehow, and I've got everything they've got. I mean, this was the one thing I didn't have, except maybe if I could find a demo version of their first album, which would probably be very hard to do. But I've got their first album. So between this one and, which has, I don't know, it's just, all this is just like really catchy songs. Like Present Tense, I think, is one of their catchy songs. The catchiest songs were on their first album, which wasn't really widely released. But as I said, the band gave me a copy. Now I've got the demo version and the actual version of just about everything they've ever done. So that'll do it for this week. These are all new things. What I have to look forward to. Oh, I'm getting some good stuff from Charlie, actually. Yeah, I'll get into it a little bit because it'll be next week. It'll next time, or rather in a month. But Refuse just re-released another one of those albums that just kind of like blew me away at the time, which was The Shape of Punk to Come. That's never been released in its full form. I've got the three songs from that album. I've had that for a very, very long time, which has their tour listed on the back. And I've had some wonky Indonesian version where I think they tried to do a good job. make it on it like a Nakamichi tape deck, but it's really it's an odd seller. I think I've shown some Godspeed You Black Emperor stuff from him. But anyway, I've had that version, and like happy to have it, but this is like going to be the actual release of, I think, a remastered 25th anniversary actually. Yeah, boy. What else? Yeah, but in that order, I got like a new Nirvana and a few new other things that I'm also happy about. So I'll be doing that, and maybe my other. See, I said I got the ferric version that'll be showing up. Then I'll take some real pics of my Aphex Twin. Good times to be a taped collector. I'll see you around later. Yup. Okay, bye.